the launch of the two radio shows, the two podcasts, Rainstorm Radio and $1 Million Minutes with Micheal Aguas. Micheal, how are you? Here is the big thing. These two podcasts are going to educate people, and you're going to gain so much knowledge from them, aren't they? Aren't you?
A few things: educating, empowering them to make better decisions. And also, in some ways, it's also a form of entertainment because the people are usually going to be people of interest for them.
Exactly. Because when you look at things that the people interested are going to be something like, I can't believe I just heard this. And we recorded two episodes of $1 Million Minutes, part one and part two, with Dan Thompson. And I was just absolutely floored of the knowledge I gained from that. And I'll talk about your parts of different podcasts we've talked about so far that we've not released yet. But Dan just brings that unbelievable thing that you've just not heard of before. And this is what you try to bring to $1 Million Minutes.
Yes. And also beyond that. So, $1 Million Minutes is a more open platform for me. I share things along the areas of finance, but also I'd like to share things on family and health and fun, right? So we'll have athletes there along the way who are, either on their way to the Hall of Fame or in the Hall of Fame for their respective sports. They're willing to share. And some of these athletes also will be willing to share their faith. So some of the people who listen to us are people of faith. And I want to inspire that as well, because that's what inspires me.
Exactly. And that's such a powerful part of it. And then the conversation, it's not just about educating, you're empowering them, you're giving them, and then telling your story of your, as we've talked about on the show before, your cancer story. And
That's right.
that's where we're going to be sharing in the next $1 Million Minutes guest, how you
Oh, I'm
use
so
that.
excited.
Yeah, that's going to be
So
exciting.
excited about that.
Exactly. So, like delving into the other topic, and then, like you said in your show, you're basically giving them information that they've not heard anywhere else. And why look at Rainstorm Group? Why should they consider working with you? And that's what you talk about on that show.
Absolutely. So the audience really is twofold: people who might be potential partners, who have the clients who have these needs. All right. And they may be struggling with the heavy burden of taxes and trying to improve cash flow, trying to find profitable ways to better serve their employees. Okay. Also trying to grow their business. I am well connected with different ideas and different experts in the industry, in different industries, to help them get that proper edge. Also, you want to enjoy what you do. There are people who are doing very, very well, but they're miserable. So I want to put all that together, different ideas, ultimately benefiting the business owner and also speaking to potential partners who may want to consider working with us in the future.
These potential partners can do very well for themselves by just connecting people they already know.
Above all, my goal is to get them to be of higher value to their clients through our partnership. That's the most important thing. But it's also very clear that I share revenues where I can. Most of my ideas don't require different licenses, whether it's insurance or investment, but I share revenues with them. So it creates another dimension of growth for my partners.
And tease a podcast that we just recorded that just blew me away involving the equipment. Just give it a little tease to that.
So here it is, right? Instead of paying a large tax, you can eliminate that tax for a fraction of the amount. Then deploy that tax savings to build your wealth, working with your financial advisors. And then finally, well, not finally, but you're also going to generate monthly cash flow, positive monthly cash flow. Think about that for a second, because this is money you would have given the IRS, and there's what monthly cash flow? It's gone once you pay them. And then after a certain period, 6 years, you get your money back. That's what that program's about. Now, the particulars, come and watch the program.
Exactly. And that's the particulars. And when I hear this, when I go and talk to people today and I share your story, because I shared it to everyone, meaning this one program or what you do, you have multiple programs. We've not talked about all of them and how you can help people. I said, are you paying taxes? He can help you eliminate or reduce your taxes. Why wouldn't you say no to that?
That's right. Some people are just, well, the answer is overwhelmingly the answer is let me hear what you've got to offer because you've got my attention. But there are those who, they're set in their ways and this is what they want to do. I run into accountants who say, yeah, no, I'll let my clients pay the tax. To which, really to my chagrin, I'm like, dude, do you know how hard some of your clients work to make their living? Don't you think they'd want the option of reducing their taxes? But you've
Exactly.
made the decision for them by not offering them, so it's well, again, it's perplexing to me for some people.
It's perplexing, but you're going to need it, especially when there's decisions. Are you going to use this money to pay taxes to the federal government, or use this money to hire more people, to increase your net worth, to look and get more loans and grow your business? Because
Right.
scaling isn't easy, is it, Michael?
No, it's very difficult. And you need everything you can, every resource you can muster to get to that next level. And we represent some of the areas where you could have a breakthrough.
And that breakthrough is needed because so many times you're seeing the struggle, and you saw this your entire life in the financial world, working in it, right?
And here's the encouraging part. For many people, the breakthrough is just a simple change. And once the light goes on and they affect that change, it turns into a really nice stream of momentum that carries into their business and just, it's very powerful. So years ago, I was coached by someone. His name is Doug Ottenreith, and I asked him about what happens when you hit a wall. I said, how do you break through from that? And he said something that I'll share with you right now. He goes, look for micro victories, micro breakthroughs. In your struggle, some things are going right. Pay attention to those things, build on them, and eventually, number one, your psyche changes. You're thinking, wow, there's something positive here I could do. Number two, the things that are going right will snowball into other things going right. And eventually you will have that breakthrough.
Yeah, and you have that breakthrough, and then it's the eureka moment once you do.
Oh,
And
yes.
then talk about when you hit that wall. What did you do when you hit your wall?
Well, I do a few things, right? So one of the things I learned from a guy everybody knows, Tony Robbins, he says, think of what you're going through. Just remember that somebody's been through that already. Find people like that who've been through your problem, who've mastered and overcome and become a different person as a result, a stronger person. Learn from them. So that's one of the things I do. So I also don't let it get the best of me because it really, really just it can take over you and have you curled up into a ball sometimes. But you can't. It's just a problem. It's been solved by someone before. I just have to find a way. So therein lies my will. I am determined to get through that. It will not be my obsession because it just can't be. But at the same time, I am determined that that will not get the best of me. I will find someone to do it. I will put together a strategy and we'll work through.
And you don't hit that, and that's a great point. Someone else has been through this, and there is a solution to that problem.
There's always a
And
solution.
and I think that we have in our mental health ways of just the day it happens or certain thing happens, like what you had to do battling cancer.
Yeah.
You first of all were in a mode of, okay, wow. But you used a lot of your training and success to go and combat this versus accept this.
So many years ago in college, Psychology 101, I learned about this thing called general adaptation syndrome. When you're hit with something, the first part, you've heard this before, is fight or flight. What happens? Are you going to run away from this or are you going to face it and fight it? Right? So a lot of people struggle with fear. This could happen, that could happen, et cetera. It could ruin me, it could end me, et cetera. Well, you know, I tell people, and I'm going to get a little spiritual here. I'm not apologizing for it, but fear is loud, but fear represents lies. So fear magnifies the problems. Faith magnifies your promises. So you need to have to go to be able to go to a certain space in your head where you can continue to believe. You get past that because it can really own you. And I've run into people who are really bound by that, and they're in a very dark place.
Absolutely. And you have to have that because if you don't, you're going to go turn to other things,
Oh
Micheal.
goodness.
And then we could talk about those things further in another opportunity and interview. I'm just excited to launch the podcast because we are building the Rainstorm Radio uh, media page website, and it's going to be fantastic. It's going to host both of the podcasts, and it's going to be a great place for people to get resources and contact you quickly. You can go to Rainstorm group right now and do that. But this place will be a library of content that people are wishing that they could have and develop because you're not going just to put someone on the air who isn't going to provide make a change for you where someone could make a change, and that's key, right?
Absolutely. So just to give you a little bit of a preview on Rainstorm Radio and a little bit of a preview on Million Dollar Minutes. On Rainstorm Radio, the next time we get together, we're going to talk about year-end tax planning. I'm going to share some ideas on what people who are in business, who are business owners, should be looking at to really optimize their position for maximum profit, minimizing expenses. What is the one of the largest expenses you as a business owner have? Your taxes. Okay, we're gonna talk about some management of that, but also building your wealth at the same time. All right. After that, we're going to talk about retirement plans. And yeah, people have heard, yeah, this retirement plans. But when I hear that, I think, a lot of times their advisors are focused on things like SEP, 401ks, simple IRAs, right? Profit sharing, which is fine. But we have profit sharing plans that allow you to imagine multiple six figures a year that will reduce your company's profitability, but it all goes towards your wealth building strategy. Or how about this? Think of people with large 401k plans. So what's the downside of that? Well, the positive is it reduced your income growing up and you were able to put money away towards your retirement. It grew tax deferred. But the big problem is this: you've now created this large nest egg. And when you start pulling it out, what do you pay? Taxes. What if we could put that in a tax-free environment and you create tax-free retirement income for yourself? And it's outside the risk of the stock market. These are the things we're going to be talking about in the coming weeks and months.
Okay. All right. And the best place is people will see the link in the just to go to the podcast, subscribe to the podcast. That's the goal of today's interview to kind of get people ready for Rainstorm Radio and Million Dollar Minutes with Micheal Aguas to be out and rolling. And I look forward to a lot of conversations with you, Micheal. Appreciate it, sir.
Me too.
All right.
Appreciate you, sir.
All right. You're listening and watching the Neil Haley